What is up? What's up? It's the funniest, weirdest, and I don't know. I just know that whoever created that, faced with an orange on it, and then said, "What's up?" He was on something. I don't know what it was, but you can't just get up in the morning and be like, "Yes, I'm going to put a face on an orange, and I'm gonna give it a catchphrase." Yes, that's clearly a person who had a very, very strong cup of coffee in the morning. Anyway, besides that, welcome back to another episode of me checking that it was recording, because I've become paranoid. But I had to say, we did get to 28 minutes, so whatever I'm doing, it's liking it. Because I think I put it on focus mode, and now it's just like, record as much as you like, Valarijex. Yes, I just spoke to myself in third person. I will not do that again. Anyway, 3, 1, and here we go. We are at the point now where we are building back up. We're building to that final crescendo in the movie, that final scene when we face the villain, we face the person that's been pissing us off the whole time in the movie. We're not there quite yet, but we're building up. We're building up to it. Let's have a look. Cool. So very straightforward, yeah? We're just hammering on the effects, but again, we're doing it musically. So whatever effects it is, I mentioned this before, please don't be like, okay, what are you using now? And I've got to write it down. Is it, at 75 degrees, or is it, that's more like 45, but anyway. Is it 0.5 or that direction, or it's like, no, which specifically one? It does not matter what it is. It's only going to work for this song at this moment. What's key here is I'm showing you creatively what you can do with what I have here right now. Pick a song and work with it musically like we are here. That's the key. Doesn't matter if you have this model of the Pioneer, if you have one would do two channels, or you have the four traditional setup, or you have just a controller with some effects on there. No matter what you have, what you're using, find a creative way to use it, but use it musically. We're applying this approach of two things at once. Where you have the doubler, we have the effects on the modular. And we're building. And what I like to do is we don't keep building right to the last second. We allow things to release, create that bit of a tail, about a bar or so, and then we kind of bring into the next space. So let's have a look. release, and change. So you allow a bit of a gap. You can't do you can't do that. We've done that before, but in this case, what I like to do is processionally progressive, is because it's timed very well. Some of this music was at the time was very formulaic. It is heavy melodically, but it is quite formulaic. You know what's gonna happen. So we have to find a creative way to change it up. But because it is formulaic, I know that I can release it confidently a bar or so ahead, and have the effect that I want. I can bring in the next song. So let me give you an example of how we can do this differently. So we don't have to use these two effects. We can use the vinyl break, for example, and go. We can then have the let's have the transmodular effect, where we're sort of we're cutting it on a quarter, and then we can go so we're breaking, we're cutting, and then we can increase it. Go then we can go 16, then we can create a short. The auto mixing. That's another way of doing it, right? And because we're doing quite quick mixes, we're going from one to another one, to another one, to another one, and usually, you're talking about 16, 32, bars, and that's sort of the chorus, and then you have in your verse or the bridge, or usually it was just sort of the verse, but then a short build, or sometimes like super long builds, and you just turn it off, and the chorus, and then the middle section, and another chorus, and the ending, and then you have the 16 bars at the end. And that's why the point is, that's why we're going straight for the next tracks. I know this is gonna be short, but you gotta prepare, you gotta get ready. So as much as I want to dance and groove, I really wanting to. We've gotta get it ready. Cool, we're just adjusting tempo. Standard stuff we've talked about. Checking the cue point. Okay, cool. Standard, there isn't much, isn't a super difference. These cue points, you can see, okay, what I have here, I have 4. So that's probably the beginning of a chorus, the beginning of a verse, the ending of a verse, the ending of a chorus, something like that. So just standard for me for progressive. I might change it up from time to time. Sometimes, well, no, I wouldn't say standard. But yeah, when I am looking at progressive house, it's usually sort of not my go-to, but what I'm looking for is those main sort of intense drops and the verse sections. So here, this is just something I like to add. Just so you can add something more fresh instead of the generic instead of that generic sort of sound, or just that sort of white noise, or whoosh, the sort of reverse riser sort of effect, or the whooshing sound. We're sort of just eh, and we're just putting in something else just to break it up a little bit. But this one's pretty good, I have to say. It's not like super like formulaic. It's sort of using the tail of the reverb, and I think that's what's creating that sort of transition in. It's sort of reversing that the reverb, I think, from the vocal. Is bringing in, that's creating a nice sort of a blend of the reverb coming in, which is for the vocal. That's how naturally that vocal comes in, which is cool. It's a nice effect. So I've listened to it again. Okay, so no, it's not. So I stand corrected. They're two different effects. So you can hear it. It's they're different. Yeah. So it's not part of the vocal. It's different. So they're separated, and then um, it's just faded in. So what we're noticing here is that they are quite metallic vocals. It's quite a electronic uh, vocal, if you will. And cool, let's manipulate that. So we're adding in, more, and we're sort of adding in a pitch, kind of exactly what I'm doing here. But we have a range of different effects on this module that we can manipulate with, and one interacts with the other, and you can create nice little moments on the fly like this. And then it can really accentuate the metallicness of here. What I'm hearing here, from what I can remember, it's like I'm probably using a pitch of some sort, maybe the pitch function, or we're doing a quick vinyl break. But I'm hearing quite a yeah, more. So I think it's more the pitch effect, and we're adding in some other effects, perhaps the shimmer, the reverb, perhaps the crush, the big crush. And next, you notice that we're doing this musically. We're going with the tempo of the music. And you notice in the background, so my main focus is this, right? But in my back of my mind, okay, I know, right? This is, this is ending. This song is ending. And I know that, okay, this one coming in, okay, I have, 4 bars, 8 bars of it coming in. It's, and the cue point I've selected, it's a slow coming. It's not super intense. I want to blend them together. So this one's finishing. We're doing a transition where one song is finishing, and we're basically allowing it to finish, but we're going to extend that out a little bit. But before it's over, I'm going to have a bit of fun with it. Cool. Now, I've mentioned this, I think in one of the more first few episodes. When we are doing these more creative transitions, it's important to take out the low end, because when you have a fader in and you play it and you've selected cue point at a particular ending of a verse or something like that, usually there's a good amount of low end contents. But even particularly, for example, we had before in progressive house, usually there's a very sort of big sort of whoosh low end sort of white noise or um, like a downbeat to say, okay, it's finished, kaboof. And then with that kaboof, there's a lot of low end. And when you're bringing in something like this, when you want it to be very smooth into the next one, you don't want to play like, for the audience or for you to notice it, like, okay, and all you hear is kaboof, you don't want that low end energy just coming in all randomly. Not only that, but it's difficult to control, and it just doesn't sound nice. It's not smooth. So it's important to take out the low end. Don't take all of it out, because then you're getting into a whole different. I noticed that a lot. I noticed that a lot when I watch for example, when I watch a lot of these the performances on YouTube and stuff like that. When I watch the performances, you cut all the low end, and then you're mixing in the next track, and then that's like a big no-no. Even from electronic production standpoint, you never want to do that, because you're messing with frequencies, and you're getting into a very very gray weird area, and particularly when you're recording something, you don't want all that low end um, out completely, because then you're getting into phasing issues, because you're pumping out. When you think about it, just think about it for a second. When you're smashing all this low end out, and then you basically creating unnecessary phase issues. I won't get into that. It's a different topic, but you can look it up what I mean. And look at the importance of linear phase EQs. Why they're important. One great plugin is the Fab Filter EQ, which I encourage you to have a look at. Look at what linear phase EQ means, why it's important. With that same token, you must apply that to DJing. You can't just hammer the channels up to max, and it basically redlining and clipping, and then you're cutting out all the low end as well, which also increases the volume. So what happens in the end is just you're distorting, and you lose all that beautiful low end, and it just sounds disgusting. It's not dubstep anymore. Maxing to -4 LUFS is not cool anymore. It's not a sound anymore. It's had its time. It's had its thing. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, and look at the importance of audio quality and maintaining the correct signal flow. If you have no idea what signal flow means, I encourage you to look at that as well. But at the fundamentals, you want to always make sure, okay, let's take out the low end, but it's important to take out only the required amount. So 45, perhaps at 90, and that's more than plenty. It's more than plenty to do what you need to do. Just hammering it down and just having all this crap in the middle and the high end, it's not cool. I'd rather I've been experimenting these days using more filters, instead of the standards, cutting out these standard sort of pods of left and right. You're using the fader instead to naturally sort of curve, sculpt out the low end. It seems to work a lot better, and I encourage you to try that. But getting back to this, we're taking out some of that low end. We're taking out the required amount. Cool. So here, and we're back in. Let's show one more time. You notice we're going, okay? Now, since we've cut out a good amount of the low end, you know, if you are someone who does want to cut, you know, because in this sort of situation, okay, I would say, okay, no worries, you can cut it out completely. You can cut it out all the way, right? Because it's not really playing, and then we're bringing in at low end before it even really starts playing. So that's okay. Cool. And again, keeping the faders down whenever possible. I think that in this case, I can't 100% see, but I think we have them already up, and that's okay because you can't notice any of the spill coming out of the low end. That's all that most of it's out, and it gives you enough of space to do what you need to do. Cool. And so before you even notice that the low end's actually out, just before the vocal starts, we bring back the low end, we release all the effects, we create a nice, beautiful transition. Cool. Okay, fantastic. Let me just double check we're still recording. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that I know there's a lot there. Just take it one step at a time. I know there's a lot of information there. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. I think we've sort of, let me just stop this. Cool. Some great points there to think about. Well, you know, I think there's some good points to think about. And I would leave you with the key idea here is using what you have at your disposal. Don't worry about, okay, this effect, this, special that. Van Halen didn't have any of the special stuff. You just plug the guitar in and there you go. Use what you have at your disposal and create with that. Don't look at, okay, is it this one, that one? Having the latest fancy delay plugged into your rig isn't going to help. Working what you have creatively and creating something awesome with that's key. And just playing musically with that is going to get you the desired result. And that's, if you get one thing out of this episode, that's key. Just be musical about the fixtures and the transitions you create. And work with the music. Work with the music. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.